Are we filming? Welcome back to the comment corner. I'm here today with the kind of long-awaited, both by me and some of you, full flip through of my first ever Hobonichi Avec. So this is a 6 months book, sort of a journal planner spanning over 6 months. They usually run from January to June and then from July to December. And this is the latter one. I found Hobonichi as a company in August, so this is when I began my book. Obviously this one is running from July to December, but I used the initial month's worth of daily pages as a Commonplace book, which is a sort of concept that I will go in further detail in other videos, because it's something that I could talk about for hours and hours on end. So I guess let's get right into it. Yeah, okay. In the beginning of my books, this has been going on for years and years, I note down what exactly it is. For me, it's a planner. It served as a Commonplace for a little bit as well. In October, I switched to another Commonplace book as I ran out of the pages in this one. You'll kind of see that more clearly in a little bit. And yes, all right. I'm gonna try to go through this beginning bit quite quickly, because what I'm most excited about are the daily pages. I'm very glad that I had a shorter day at university today, so I was able to come back home and film while it's still light outside. And it's not even the weekend, so I'm quite enjoying this. Alright, so what we have first is these sort of monthly glances, so you can see 6 months at one glance, a little bit more clearly. You can see that here, and I used it as an index, so every daily page title is linked just here, so if I want to find something really quickly, I usually use it to especially find my reviews of like movies, for example. Like here I watched a movie called Fingernails, and I know that that's on the 8th of November, so I can get to it really, really quickly. And here I kind of collected just the overall long list of books that I read and movies that I watched. So this was things that I collected over the entire year. I kind of went back in memory and thought about like what were some of the things that I saw overall in that year. But in the following books, these are going to be only the books and movies that I consumed in the half a year that the book spans over. So something that I learned from that. Just a bit of decorating here and there, some personal information there. Let's keep that in its place. Okay. And then obviously the next sort of 6 months from January 2024, as this is a 2023 book, was not usable, but I wanted to sort of test out some habit tracking, and I carried this on in my next book, which you can see if you watch my first ever video. I explain a little bit more about how I use my Hobonichi and how some of my sort of methods came about, and a lot of it was from the experimentations that I did with this book. Moving on to the months. June, July, empty. I found the book in August. It was my summer break, so not a lot happened. I went to Greece towards the end of the month, and then my university started, and you can see that I got a lot more busy here. And then I realized that I want to start doing a little bit of habit tracking, a little bit of like tracking of other things in my life. And then finally in November, I kind of noted down every important aspect of every day, so like the important aspect of each day, so, and kind of what day I saw certain movies and birthdays and etc. And I continued doing this. I found it really, really enjoyable to be able to sort of get a quick summary of each day by just looking at here. Obviously in the index bits you can see the title of the journal entry that I made on that specific day. Oops. Things are getting messy. Okay, but it doesn't say what I did that day. So for example, on the, I don't know, 13th of December, it says long study day. But then if we go to the 13th of December in the monthly bit, you can see that there's a lot more that happened. I slept until quite late, but again, I studied. And then I saw my friend Alicia at the Gecko Cafe in London. So just a little example. Then moving on to the weekly pages, I did a bit of planning kind of here, how I wanted to use them. Mainly the color coding was the main thing. I've been using a digital Google planner for like the past maybe 5 years, and I finally wanted to switch back into analog about 10-ish months ago, like I mentioned earlier. And I've always enjoyed the vertical column planners, which Hobonichi does provide. So I was excited to start using that kind of in a similar way as the Google Calendar looks. Yeah, and you'll be able to see that as I begin uni. I hate that there's a lot of empty pages here, but sometimes we just have to move through it. It's okay. Yeah, so you can kind of see that here. Very, very minimal decorating. Some sketches from Megan Rhiannon's shop. Nothing fancy, but for me it really, really helps out to see kind of what kind of things and how my time was spread out over the week. And then I have a little sort of colored key just on the side there, and a couple of sort of to-dos on the sides. I mostly try to use up all the space that I have just to do a full plan, and then I kind of go in at the end of the week to do a little bit of decorating and kind of have fun with it as well as I'm filling out like other bits of my book and catching up. Yeah, and it's something quite enjoyable. I got these stamps. They're very like anatomically correct, which warms my medical student heart. I got these stamps from Amazon. If someone's interested, I'm very happy to send the link. There was like multiple different ones, like ribs, the heart, the brain, etc. You'll see them sort of scattered through my book, but I remember how excited I was about them. Also, I'm kind of tired because I did have a full day at uni, although it was a shorter one than usual. And I talked to a lot of challenging patients, so I'm slightly tired. So excuse if my if I sound a bit like out of breath, maybe a bit muffled. It's because of that. Yeah. We're getting towards December now, which was busy in the beginning, very, very quiet towards the end. I enjoyed a long couple of weeks back in Finland, in my home country, and got actually a bit sick. I have been ill a lot in the past couple months. It hasn't been the most enjoyable. Yeah, a couple of stickers from the Christmas calendar that my parents had. They gave some of the stickers to me. It just says, "Today I'm happy" in Finnish. Okay, we're getting to my favorite bit, the daily pages. This is something that I was so excited about when I found out about Hobonichi, that they offer 1 page per day that is like the days are numbered, so you know what day of the year you're on, and there's a page per day, as I've mentioned now about 1,000 times, which is what I found beautiful, because I had been looking for inspiration to make this a daily habit, and for me it really works that there is something that kind of can be filled out on a daily in a daily manner, I guess. So this is the bit that I'm most excited about. They offer it, I think, in the Techo, in a couple of the other books as well. Definitely the cousin, the Gingham, I think it's called, or something like that. If you're interested, you can find them on their website. Okay, so I made a little plan here. I like to have the title, and then a place to put a logging sticker so that I know what kind of category the entry is. Again, like very, very, very many things, I'm new to this whole kind of commonplacing and daily archiving system. So this is borrowed from Megan Rhiannon, as many of the other ones. You can see I'm very heavily influenced by her, and I owe her so much. But I think I've seen a lot of other people use this as well, and I actually don't know from whom this idea kind of came from, to use these little index dots to mark their entries. So that's my key. I like to have a title. Well, although so many things have changed in my current book, so that it's a bit strange talking about it because things are no longer the same, but you can kind of see where I began from, and maybe you can find inspiration for your own book from here. A lot of this did work for me, so highly recommend it. Yeah, date, the time that I logged on, little margin, 4 squares, title, make sure to put in the sticker, what kind of your entry it is. Most of them ended up being logbooks, so I'm talking about my day in detail. But then, as I did have a commonplace section in the beginning of the daily pages, as I only received this book in August, and there's a whole July's worth of daily pages to be filled, I ended up using a lot of these other stickers in that bit. I really enjoyed this green bit, so if there's thoughts from other people that I've noted down, quotes, etc., I like to use that there. Yes. Okay, let's get into it. So the first bit is my Commonplace book. The daily entries only begin, I think it was like, yeah, here we go, on the 11th of August. On the 11th of August. So I'm gonna go through my Commonplace entries first and then get over here, because you can see they're very, very different. So some notes to self, just a running list that I always have, just a bit of decorating, some quotes from Murakami's book Sputnik Sweetheart, which is one of my favorite books from this author. Just a reminder that if I'm not feeling well, I can ask myself, am I hungry? Or hydrated? Am I angry, alone, or anxious? Am I lonely, or am I tired? And it creates this HALT acronym. I remember when I learned about that and I was like, oh, that's very useful. Just a little drawing of mine from like ages ago that I found and thought to stick it in. Shopping list. And then when I was getting deep into the Hobonichi rabbit hole, I did a big list of things that I wanted to get for 2024. I'm paranoid if it's still filming. Yes, it is. Then 2 pages dedicated to my trip last year to Hong Kong. I miss it a lot, still do, and I dedicated a whole page for the memories from there, and kind of journaling about it. And it just so happened to be on the 7th of July, so 7.7, and 7 is my lucky number. So yeah, and in a lot of these entries actually I ended up putting the archiving sticker somewhere here, because that kind of broke up the how to put it, like the planner aspect of the book, because this is usually where the days are, where the information about what day it's been written on is. But obviously this is my commonplace section, so the days don't matter. They're not matched up to when I wrote these texts, so I actually quite like to use those stickers there. And I thought about, like, if I ever do fall really, really heavily behind on my current book, I could do the same. I can just use up those pages to write about something random and then kind of cover up the day somehow. So I can imagine that a lot of people might feel intimidated by the daily aspect of these books and how there's one page for every single day, and that they might feel pressure to keep up to that. But that's not the case, in my opinion. There's always a way to go around the sort of bits of the day, and then when you feel comfortable with it, you're welcome to then kind of use those days as you wish. I think there's just a lot of freedom here. So yeah, some brain draining, a couple of like different business cards. Just a quote from a book called Kitchen. Not all pages need to be perfect. There's a lot of good memories here. I was very into Tokyo Ghoul at some point in the year, so I did some pages for those as well. Some more brain training, just a lot of writing, a whole spread for Hobonichi. I wrote about it a lot, yes. And then at one point I became a part of Megan's Patreon, which I highly recommend. I'm probably gonna end up linking her channel here once again, because I mentioned it a lot, so you can find her Patreon through her YouTube channel. I'll link her channel in the description as well. Oh yeah, and then at some point I started to put in Oh, I live in a busy part of London, so apologies if you can hear that. I put in a music log as well, just to talk about some of my favorite things that I listened to last year. There was a new album that came out by this artist called Dan, who's a Korean solo artist, and it was highly enjoyable. And then I went to see a exhibition by Daido Moriyama, who's a Japanese street photographer. Beautiful work. Could go on about it for ages. I did a lot of writing about this book that I read called Second Place by Rachel Cusk. It was very, 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 I don't know how to put it even. It like I indulged myself within it. Like I lived in that book for a few weeks. Yeah. Some more music logs, drawing of my friends. I wrote a lot about the meaning of archiving and how important it is to me. And sort of very suitably so, then there is some archived books that I read, some music that I enjoyed, etc. These are my reading logs from those 6 months, kind of, I think. Yeah. And then actually, sadly so, I haven't filled these up. Oh, I really should. I might do that later. Yeah. And then some plans for the 2024 book system. And this was important to me, so I kind of started off my whole book and system in my 2024 one based on some of these things that I learned from this book, and I wrote about them here. Film and TV log, just very randomly, Gossip Girl and then Bones and All. Very, very different things. If you've seen them both, you'd know. And this is the final page of the Commonplace, and after that I moved into this book just here, but I'll have to go into that another time, definitely. And after this began my journey through the daily entries that match up to the dates. This was my first ever entry. Big picture slammed in the middle, not a lot of text. Very, very different to something that I do today. It's really, really fun looking at these now, later on. I think I'm just going to do a couple of flipping, maybe pull out a couple of bits here and there. This is important. Fatigue is not a sign of weakness, but rather a call for stillness. Yes. Don't pointless things have a place too in this far from perfect world? Remove everything pointless from an imperfect life, and it would lose even its imperfection. From Sputnik Sweetheart by Haruki Murakami. Yeah, then we went to Greece with my partner and my family. And it was the first time that my partner's been sort of on a family trip, holiday. It was very interesting, really, really fun. So I kind of vlogged that whole thing here. You can see these entries are a little bit more messy because I did write a majority of them on the boat. So, yeah. Some obsessions again with Tokyo Go. This was done around the same time that those earlier entries in the Commonplace were done. I was reading this book at the time, South of the Border, West of the Sun. Really interesting, I would say. And then September cover page. September is a really busy month for me usually. This time around my mom came to visit. I started the 3rd year of medical school. It was my mom's birthday. It was also my partner's birthday on the same day, funnily so. It's also my birthday in September, and it's also our anniversary in September. So there we go. A lot of celebrating, a lot of busy times. You can usually see that usual logbooking of a busy day. I'm having a lot of fun flipping through these. sleepless night. You can see already here, compared to the first entry, like, look at how much text is here versus here. I really got used to writing a lot every day, but with time, yeah. And I keep everything that I can get my hands on in terms of little paper memos and stickers and etc. and receipts and like, honestly, everything and everything. I keep it and I stick it in here. There's this really beautiful coffee company called the WatchHouse in London. They have a couple of places around, and best coffee. And I took my partner there for his birthday, so yeah. And this is an artist that I fell in love with, and my friend actually gifted me a lot of their stickers for my birthday. It's called, I remember, Yoshimoto Nara. I remember the first video, a lot of people were asking me about it, and I had forgotten to put it in the description, so Yoshimoto Nara, it's written just there, if you were able to see that. Maybe not, but yeah. Oh, I like to keep her stickers around for like emotional support. This is probably one of my favorite spreads, to be quite honest with you. I just enjoy the color palette. And there's a Murakami related piece of work here as well. Birthday. I'm not sure why I've... Oh no, yeah. And I have like a letter here as well. Some receipts, some gifts, like badges, not sure what they're called. The birthday illustration from Petite Bloom. And then into October. This is where I started to kind of lay out my monthly cover pages a bit more intentionally, whereas I have some text, some plans, and then kind of like a mood board, things that I want to kind of remind myself of for the month. So yeah. And I kind of like this as well. I made this little table in the beginning of the month, on the first day of the month, of things that I wanted to remember from the month, related to like either academic or social things, or like personal kind of events. Yeah. And I really enjoy looking back on these. For example, in the academic / social bits, I've had like, I started a new hospital placement, and I bought the Nintendo Switch with my partner, and we played a lot of Mario Bros. And then on a very personal aspect, I was like, I realized that I wanted to quit my current job, and I invited photo archiving back into my life. Not analog archiving, but digital. So I've always loved to take photos, and I'm a photographer, so I started to get a lot more back into that during this month. Yeah. And then things did get quite busy, so some of these are backfilled, so you'll be able to see that here as well. A day trip to Canterbury. A lot of receipts. One of my favorite restaurants. A business card from my flatmate. Some like inspiration for outfits and stuff. I'm really into self-expression through all means, but especially through fashion. As you can see, I try to bring a little bit of that into the videos through my sleeves, because that's the only bit of me that you can see. So I hope I'm able to deliver on that point. Yes, on a lot of actually, this is something that I wanted to bring up, is that sometimes I'm able to sort of log down a bit of a logbook, what happened, the timeline of the day, maybe have a little to-do list at the very top here. I actually use that a lot in this book, is this to-do list at the very top. of the Hobonichi cousin Avec. They have it in the cousin, in all the cousins. This little to-do list, and I might have just a little light reflection session and then not write anything for the rest of the day. But then I often go back in the next day. I draw the straight line or somehow mark that it's no longer part of the same day, but I'm talking about that day. Excuse me. So here I was writing at 11:40 a.m. and I did this bit on the day, and then this part I've written entirely on the next day, but it's still related to the timeline of the 17th of October somehow. So yeah. Oh. Ooh, I ordered my new Hobonichi that day. That was very exciting. I was so excited about that. And for those of you in the UK, I did a lot of research into this, and turns out that if you do want to get a notebook from Hobonichi or their products, the cheapest way to get it is to order from this company called Stilo e Stile. Maybe I'll note them down as well in the description, because I won't get into how I worked out that they are the cheapest to order from. It was a long process, but I can assure you they are the cheapest to order from if you're getting Hobonichi products delivered to the UK. Yes. It's really confusing right now with like what they're doing in the Japanese store, and because you have to pay in the currency of the country that you're ordering the product to, and with the whole like what is it called, like the different currencies, like it actually gets very, very expensive if you order in pounds, and you have to order with like I think like almost £200 or £200 exactly, or 150, something like that. It's a lot in order to get free shipping. So anyway, Stilo e Stile is where it's at, I promise. Oh, I did a lot of like, I was attending hospital placement during this time. I was on an endocrinology ward, so that means everything related to the hormones of the body, and as well as like things such as your liver, your thyroid, the glands in your brain that make up hormones, and people with diabetes as well were on this clinic. So I learned a lot of things related to that, and I've noted down a lot of them during this time frame that I was there. Saw Killers of the Flower Moon, rated 2.5 out of 5. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I know a lot of people liked it, but I had my opinions. Just a lot of fun memories looking through these. I appreciate it so much as I'm looking through these pages. I'm appreciating my daily effort, definitely. This is when I bought the new cover that I'm currently using, that you'll be able to see in all of my other videos. I'm thinking to do like a full breakdown of all of the kind of, what are they called, like products? Stationery that I use in my pages. It's not a lot, it's nothing fancy. It's mainly just like collected things from all around, and integrating them into my books in my own way. Yeah. This is one of the stamps that I mentioned earlier. Beautiful. And then it was Halloween. This is the first time that I think I was very excited for Halloween, because I was interacting a lot more with Megan's videos, as well as the community on Megan Rihanna's channel. If any of you know her, let me know, because it would be fun to meet someone who's also sort of been inspired by her. Yeah, so I was excited for Halloween. That's something that she's very interested in. So I did a whole page about Halloween and writing about it. And then it was November. This is the first time that I tracked, I think, my bookwork. I somehow expected it to be a lot more stable. I'm not sure if that's the word, but I expected that I would have only missed like a few days. But this month actually ended up being really, really stressful for me. So there was a couple of gaps, but that's okay. Yeah. It's still, as I'm looking through this, I'm like, wow, I really did show up on like 90% of the days. I really did show up for myself, for these books, for this practice. Yeah, I really enjoyed this quote. I actually quote it almost on every Sunday in my pages, that time flows in a strange way on Sundays. Let me know if you agree. I agree. A little outfit of mine. I mentioned about my love for self-expression. You can see a bit of that here. I started to read this manga called Bungo Stray Dogs in this month, and there's one character that is really into notebooks, or has a notebook that they're really into, and I resonated with that highly. A couple of movies that I saw, Tuve, Past Lives, Man in Love. Yay. Oh, and then I started to play Animal Crossing. Yes, 16th of November. I actually did a whole like unboxing video and everything, but I never ended up releasing it. So I've already started to film videos for the Common Corner in November of last year, but I never ended up releasing any of them because I got very, very scared. Yeah. Review of Saltburn, the movie. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it. Receipts, stickers. Ooh, that's me. I kind of don't want to show my face here, so let's keep that hidden. But that's just me on the hospital wards, being kind of excited to feel our medical helping the doctors out to write notes on the patients and everything. Yeah. And then I went to a Cigarettes After Sex concert, which was really brilliant. I've been listening to them for a couple of years now, and it's been their music has been quite important in my life, and I finally got to see them live, and it was somehow really surreal, because I had always they don't have a lot of media out where you can see them, so seeing kind of the band in real life was very absurd. Yeah, I don't know why I'm covering this, because like you already peeped it in the beginning, but I hope it's small enough that no one will recognize me. Okay. It's so silly. A little bit more reflecting on medicine. I was having quite a hard time actually in my first ever hospital placement. Is it still filming? Yeah, and I reflected about it a lot. So it was a 2-month placement in a hospital in East London with a lot of really difficult patients actually. So writing about it in this journal was like my lifeline every day that I went in. As you can see, I think it was this entire thing that I just kept writing about it. Yeah. Christmas time, December. I had to do a lot of work in the beginning of the month to get ready for Christmas. I went to a few like cafes, and I always did a little bit of drawing. And I use actually a lot of my like stickers and like things that I have kind of archived in this little how to say, you can notice my English is really struggling at the moment. Binder. I'll show it to you. This binder. I archive a lot of things that I find in this binder, and I kind of usually just pick and choose based on how I'm feeling that day. And this is kind of how I wanted to feel, so I was trying to channel these vibes. Yeah, that's actually what I do a lot of the times. I try to channel the feelings with my stickers and everything. End of placement. I went to a BTS club night, which was really, really fun. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of BTS, if anyone knows the band, and I know like all of their discography. And then there was this BTS club night in London. I was like, why not go if I know all the music and can dance to it full on? So yeah. I really like, also, you can see here is like, there's a bunch of things, but they're all kind of layered on top of each other, and then in the end, it looks still somewhat collected. And oh yes, something I didn't mention is that if there's a blank circle, it means that the entry is of the same category as the previous entry. And this was because I was kind of starting to run out of stickers, so I thought that would kind of make sense, that I wouldn't have to keep using the same sticker over and over again. Yeah. There was just, before I was going back home, there was just a lot to do, so these are very, I was still doing my planning and everything on the day, but as you can see, it's not as structured as my usual entries. Same thing here. It continued on for a bit. And then here is where there was a lot of backfilling because I was spending time with my family. I was journaling with my siblings sometimes, but a lot of this was backfilled at the end after I had sort of processed everything. Going back home is always like a very interesting time, usually in the most beautiful way. So I was kind of reflecting on all of it and the Christmas traditions that I have with my family, kind of noting it all down. Yeah, and then I went to Helsinki and flew back to London. I had gotten just a new Mocha Mocha Express, I think that's what it is. I have no idea, maybe. I should really fact check myself before I go into these videos. Because I know that I butcher up so many words because my English is really quite limited, so yeah. Thanks for sticking all the way here if you did, because we have reached it, the 31st of December, and we've actually just flipped through this entire thing. If you've made it all the way to the end, a huge thank you for keeping me company, and I hope that there was something new that you saw, noticed, enjoyed, got inspired by. If there was anything that one of you beautiful people in this little community noticed that I didn't really touch upon, but you would like to hear a little bit more about the thought process behind it, etc., I'm very happy to talk about anything. The reason I sat down in this comment corner and decided to share it for other people is because I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it all. So yeah, maybe I'll end with, so after this there isn't really anything. I didn't end up using a lot of these pages in a meaningful way, the ones that come to us at the back of the Hobonichi's books, so nothing exciting to see there, but yeah, something that I wanted to end on. Now I've lost the page. I just saw it. It was an illustration yet again by Megan about the importance of keeping a notebook. Was it just here or where was it? Oh no. I don't want to keep you too long. If I don't find it, then we will have to go to it another time. Okay. You can completely see that the lighting has changed because right as I re-began filming, as I wanted to read out this one last bit, my phone ran out of battery and then it got dark as I was charging it. So here we go. A little cozy evening last few words. So for anyone who does keep a notebook, there's these words by Megan that I really enjoy, and it reads like this. I know that keeping a notebook is important to my well-being. It's okay to take a break, to fall behind, but I will return to it when I can. I will do my best to maintain it, the practice, and I will fill a page, even if it's only a small one. And I think with that, I think it sort of summarizes quite well the practice that I've done over the past, well, in the last half a year of 2023, and I've continued on to 2024, and I'm excited to keep sharing my journey and my practice and how it evolves. Thank you for my little community that has formed here over the past 4 weeks or so. I'm very happy that you're here, even if only for a little while. That's it. I'll see you very soon, hopefully. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.